everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craftably Ever After, and as always I'm super excited to be chatting to you guys today. Now today is a beautiful Sunday. It's Sunday the 26th of February. We had a fantastic day out in the city. I'll pop a few pictures up on the screen just so that you can see the wonderful sunshine. Now let me just say that in Denmark, in winter, sunshine days are few and very far between. For instance, in January there was a point where for 3 weeks on end we saw zero sunshine. So for us, if the sun shines, it's fantastic. We love going out into the city. We live very close to the center of Copenhagen, and it was just a lovely day out. And on our outing, I couldn't resist. Now, I love a good tote bag. I've got a ton of tote bags. I use them for everything, from project bags to handbags to whatever. I cannot resist them. And at one of our bookshops, I picked up this adorable Pride and Prejudice I Love Darcy tote bag. Now, I'm a big Jane Austen fan. I've got all of her books. I've read all of her books. She doesn't have a ton of books, but I've got them all. I've read them all, and I have loved them all. Pride and Prejudice being my absolute favorite. All right, now on to the projects that I want to show you guys for this week. Now, if you saw my video last week, you would have known that I had finally got my hands on some of this fantastically beautiful, colorful, red hot super saver, the retro stripes yarn. And it was so interesting to read the different comments, because there's a lot of mixed feelings about the red heart that I didn't know about before, because it's not a yarn that I have access to. I was just excited to get my hands on it for the first time ever. I love the colors. It's absolutely my color palette. I just love colorful yarns. Those are the ones that I love working with the most. Not necessarily stripe yarns or self-striping or variegated. I do more often than not use just plain cotton, like single color cottons in my projects, but I love the colorful, bright colors. So this is, I think, why I have been just bursting at the seams to start working with this fantastic colorful yarn. And as I said, very interesting and mixed feelings in the comments about how people feel about the retro stripe. So most of us who do not live in the US actually had the same feeling. We loved it. We loved the colors. We wish we had it. We wish we could get more. And you lucky and lovely folks in the US, you were not quite as in love with red heart. A lot of people saying it's a very rough yarn. It's not soft. And I will agree. Working with it is different than working with cotton. I'm more used to working with cotton recently. Back in South Africa, I did use acrylics, 100% acrylics, but in a DK, so it is thinner. The retro stripes is a number 4 weight yarn. So for the most part, in general, I don't like working with thicker yarns. Most of my toys are fingering weight, sport weight, at most DK weight. So for me, strangely enough, it wasn't a very rough yarn. So I didn't, maybe it's because the yarn I worked back in South Africa wasn't like, premium acrylic or anything. It was like a regular mid-priced acrylic that's available everywhere. So it's not like top of the range, those super soft acrylics. So I think this is why working with the red heart sort of gave me that same feeling as the yarn I worked with in South Africa. So to me, it wasn't as rough as what I thought it would be reading the comments. Definitely not a super soft yarn like if I worked with my regular rainbow cotton. The cottons are a lot softer. It's a lot smoother. The stitches work up very beautifully in a cotton, which is why I like working with cotton for toys. But this one, you guys, honestly, I did enjoy working with it. Will I ever switch to working purely with 4-weight yarns? Not at all. I don't like working with thick yarns, and I don't like working with thicker hooks. In the end, for this, the first bit, I really struggled to find a hook that worked well, that I felt comfortable with, you know, with my fingering weight yarns, 2.5 millimeter, even the DK yarns that I worked with before, I would use a 2.5 millimeter. That is my most favorite preferred size hook. Obviously, you cannot use a 2.5 with this. It just will give you endless nightmares. So I tried a 3, which was too small. I tried 3.5, which was too small. I tried a 4 and a 4.5. They were just way too big for me. And in the end, I plucked out one of my Bella Coco Crochet Society hooks, 3.75 that I got in a previous box, and that one worked the best. So very odd size, 3.75, but that is the hook that I in the end used for making my project, and this is what I want to show you guys. Now, I wanted to find the perfect project to use this yarn on because I only have got 4 skeins of this. But then after a few days, sort of staring lovingly at the retro stripes, I just realized I'm never going to find the perfect pattern. It's a lot of pressure to put on a ball of yarn. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go through the patterns that I've got, see which patterns I really love. Patterns that I've made in the past that I know work up really nicely. And in the end, you guys will not believe me, I didn't choose a bear. I know, it is a shocker. But I did do a bunny. Now just look at how enormous this bunny turned out. Now this, it's a bunny that I've made many times before. It's called, I think, Zoe Sleeping Bunny by Amalu Designs. I will link it in the description box below. It's a pattern. This is probably the 4th or 5th time that I've made this bunny. I've enjoyed making it every single time that I've made this bunny. So this, let me show you, is what she turned out like. So the white is Malaga, which is a hobby yarn. So Malaga, just a white, which I used for the ears and the face. And that was another struggle for me because I actually wanted to do more of a grey bunny, but the grey didn't go with the beautiful colours of the retro stripes. So I turned to a white, which worked out really nicely for a bunny. And this is what she looks like. So she is quite big. Wonder, you know, if I put her sort of next to me, she is very big. But this is how she turned out. Now the yellow that you see there, the little accents, I did that also with Malaga, which is a worsted weight yarn. This was just in a sort of a light yellow. And then the colors worked up beautifully. So I didn't obviously do any color control. The yellow, again, this is Malaga, because I needed a solid color for the little scarf. Let me show you the back. Oh, it just worked up so beautifully. So this was the back of the bunny. You can see how the colors changed. It was absolutely superb. I am so happy with how this bunny turned out. Now I'm going to try maybe and pop a picture on the screen, because you can't get the entire feel of the colors on this bunny from seeing it on the screen. Now this bunny, as I said, I've made this bunny numerous times before. It is a fantastic pattern to work up. It is so easy. I think the biggest I've worked it up in previously was a DK, which turned out considerably smaller than having worked it up in this worsted weight yarn. Now this little doily thing, since doing the pillow bear, I really like the effect of like a neutral plain colored sort of doily for an accent on the toy. And this pattern is Some or Other Flower. It's a free pattern that I found on Pinterest. I will link this little doily pattern down below, and it's lovely to make. And I thought it just looked so nice, just as a little accent on this amazingly colorful sleeping bunny. Now I'm so happy with how she turned out. Now I did use one full skein of retro stripes, and then I did have to break into a second skein, a tiny bit that I had to use from a second skein. So just very short of only needing one. I think if I had maybe done the feet, you know, for instance, do a bit of the feet and a bit of the hands in white and then change colors, I could have made this bunny using only one skein. But as I worked it up, I did have to go into a small bit of a second skein. But there you go. What do you guys think? Tell me what you would have made with it. Now, I have seen some beautiful projects made with this retro stripes. Someone sent me a fantastic, like a type of granny square blanket where the squares were made with the retro stripes, and then the borders of the squares and putting them together were made in a white. It was absolutely fantastic. That is something I would actually love to do. It's that blanket. I saw a few toys on other people's Ravelry and Instagram with this. I'm telling you, it's just such a beautiful yarn. I really enjoyed actually working with it, but I think that the part that I enjoyed is not the actual working with the yarn. It is seeing how the yarn worked up. So I must tell you guys, honestly, I didn't mind the feel of the retro stripes. To me, it didn't bother my hands at all. It wasn't as rough as I expected it, because this colors, you guys, it is just absolutely fantastic. I love it. I will definitely make some or another amigurumi with this yarn. I don't know what it is. Will it be a bear? I don't know. Like I said, I just found that trying to wait for the perfect pattern or trying to find the perfect pattern is a lot of pressure. And I am absolutely thrilled with how this bunny in the retro stripes turned out. A fantastic pattern. If you guys ever want to try it, I will link it, as I said, down below. The second thing I made, and this was actually before I made my retro stripes bunny. It was sort of after Valentine's Day. I saw, or during the time that it was Valentine's Day, so many people did so many fantastic amigurumi patterns. And the one pattern, or one of the patterns that I saw was, it was a bear and bunny pattern pack. I think the designer's name is Ellen Cantarellen. I saw it on someone's Instagram. And this was this cute little bear. Oh my word. Now, you guys, look at this little bear. So, working from this bear, which is in a fingering weight yarn, sitting on my hand like this, to that enormous bunny. I'm telling you, it was a week of extremes. So this one was cute. So it does have Valentine's vibes. This one has a fingering weight yarn that was gifted to me. The little heart I made with Rainbow Cotton 84, and for all of it using a 2.5 millimeter hook. Now, strangely enough, I didn't use safety eyes. The pattern do embroider, or on the pattern the designer did embroider eyes. So I did the embroidering of the eyes, which I don't do often, but I think in the future I will do it a bit more, especially if I plan to donate toys to like a local charity that gives it to little children. I think it might be better, you know, not to have safety eyes for everything that I make. So this one, super cute pattern. I will link this one down below as well. And the other part of the pattern is a very cute Valentine's bunny that holds a little, like a little bunch of flowers in his hands for his girlfriend. So definitely, even though Valentine's is now long past, I am still going to do that little bunny with the flowers because I really enjoyed it. It was such a well-written pattern. Really, really nicely done. Very small, so obviously if you do it in a slightly bigger yarn, it would work well. And as you guys can see, I am in a variegated yarn mood lately. So a lot of my toys lately has been made with variegated yarns. And I am loving how it turns out. It just gives such an interesting feel to the toys. But there you go, you guys. So from a very small little bear to a very enormous bunny. That is my projects for this week. Alright friends, that is it. That's all I had to show you for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing my retro stripes bunny. I was so excited to work on it, you guys. I love it. Alright friends, that's it for this week. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I hope you're ready for the week ahead. As always, stay safe and stay crafty. And I will talk to you really soon.